obviously Tuesday's game at Colchester, is that a great game for so many reasons? Obviously they're a side that like to play football. We've come up against them many times over the last couple of years. It's in a stadium, it's away from home, it's an evening game, you can get 90 minutes into them, tick all the boxes.
It does. It was one I thought of quite early in terms of you're going to get a competitive game. It's closer to the season, so you would imagine that they'll be fit. They've had 3 games at home already, which is important in terms of the logistics of the virus, in terms of the preparation of the stadium will be ready. So that's an advantage as well. Obviously, agreeing to 2 90 minutes. It's a night game, which we're going to have a lot of them. So there's a lot of things that I thought, okay, that's an appealing fixture. Pitch is outstanding. So it's going to be a good game because they're a good team. They've got some good players. So we've got that game then, and then on Saturday against Coventry, it'll probably, I would imagine, maybe a more similar game to Derby, in terms of we'll have to be really switched on without the ball. We'll have to do things really well in transition. So for that to be the last game, I'm delighted with, because they're a good team, and then Mark's added some quality to that squad from last season. So yeah, they're 2 very, very good games. The advantage is this season, which a lot of clubs seem to be doing, is that there's going to be 2 90 minutes as opposed to 1. So there can be no complaints when we start the season about how many minutes. And then of course when you start the season, you're on the 5th we've got Cheltenham, then we've got Burton, and obviously now we know we've got Accrington. Hopefully we get through the first round, and then you've got another cup match, and so it's going to be hectic. So everyone's going to be used. So in that first few weeks there's going to be a lot of games, and then you hope that you get through that period and start the season well and get to October, and hopefully then we can start to see some crowds back. So I think that's going to be vital.
In terms of that game at Colchester, is that a good one as well because of the logistics of, I know you've had a few games already, but you said before that the mentality of this week's got to be right, because that's what it's going to be like when the season starts. Obviously you're going to have players travelling independently and getting to the game at certain times, etc, etc. They've got to be extremely disciplined this year to make sure their attitude is spot on off the pitch as well as on it. Yeah,
we're continuing to allow the players to travel independently, as you say. Normally they'll go in 2s and 3s in cars and things like that, but yeah, it's important that that there'll be one group that are there at a certain time, then the second group will have to be there. So they're absolutely right. They've got to be disciplined. They've got to start thinking about things like there's going to check traffic and things like that. So it's a challenge for all of us. It's different. Of course, when the season starts and we're going away at Accrington, we're obviously going to go as we normally do. But again, there'll be different things that we have to adapt to. No overnight stays and things like that. So that's why when I looked at the fixtures, a lot of the Tuesday night games away are like Plymouth. I think Bristol's won, Wimbledon's won, Wigan. We can actually travel on a day, so it's actually quite an advantage, because obviously Plymouth geographically is miles away. So, but no, it's a challenge for us all, but it's certainly not one I'm going to use any excuses with. We're all in the same boat in terms of how we deal with the pandemic, and the big hope is, as the season gets underway, that things ease off, and obviously we get more control of the pandemic, and life might come back to a bit more of normality come the turn of the year.
And just finally, Dan Butler hasn't played in any of the games. Is he scheduled in this week?
Sorry?
Dan Butler, is he scheduled to play any of the fixtures?
He played 45 minutes this morning, came through it no problem. Ethan Hamlin came through 45 minutes, no problem. Brownie got through the whole 75, which is about a bonus. So there'll be a step up with them. Butler, Hamilton will probably do 60 against Colchester. In terms of Butts, I think he may just do another 45, maybe 60. We'll see how he is, and then gradually build him up. We have to gradually build him up. We can't just throw them straight in there. But I have no concerns about him. I think he needed the break. I've got to be honest. The injury's not an issue. We didn't think it would be. It was a small operation. It's completely sorted out. So yeah, I would expect him to be ready for the start of the season.